Welcome to another SPbN production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is an online World of Darkness role-playing community originated in St. Petersburg, Florida, and now spreading to the world at large. My name is Kent, also known as Misha Kent, and I will be your storyteller tonight. And it is Sunday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Red Tide Rising, our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle set in the city of Tampa, Florida, where a young coterie of Anarch kindred attempt to carve out some of the territory for themselves as the Camarilla continues to crumble slowly around them. Before we get to all that, though, I encourage you to go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below. And if you really like what you see, you should hop onto our Discord by following the Discord link and become one of our over 150 members who are in love with the World of Darkness or exploring it for the first time, and you could be one of them. And while you're clicking on things and signing up for things, I really encourage you to go sign up for our Ko-fi, where for as low as $5 a month, you can get access to all kinds of behind-the-scenes features, merch discounts, more and more and more. And I have heard that we have some sneak peeks coming up about a potential new character that might be entering into the Tampaverse. So if you want to first look at information regarding that character, you should go sign up for the Ko-fi and get that sneak peek. But of course, I couldn't do this alone. It would take some pretty incredible characters and players to make it happen. So let's go ahead and meet those players now. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you please.
Howdy, howdy. My name's Ace. I don't have a quippy intro this time, and I'm playing Beau Walker Toreador.
And I'm Scott, playing Jeremiah the Malkavian, and hey, even the Mona Lisa's falling apart.
And while the screen looks, emptier today, trust me, it's not going to stay that way for long, but let's get everybody caught up as to where we were last week. We saw Beau and her father figure out what to do with this dead body they found in the form of Ricky / Jimmy / what's his name. And with some quick thinking, Beau was able to really click into business mode, making several calls, first to August, then to Jeremiah, and then finally to Solomon, who sent Doberman to the bar to act as cleanup crew. It wasn't quite the reunion Beau was probably hoping to have with her father, but these things happen the way they do, and it seems that Beau is now dead set on making sure their father is freed from the Camarilla, from the possessive force that seems to have slowly but surely degraded and broken their brain and their will to continue. After that, we saw Valentina approached by Eliza to have further discussion about what their intentions were for the future and how necessary it was to break away from the poison that had been driven into their veins. Then after the break, we saw Jeremiah and Beau reunite as Jeremiah was brought to the bar urgently, having been busy with other political business at the time that Beau called to find out just how everything had turned out and what Beau had done to resolve the situation. After that, they started making plans forward while wondering what had happened to August and why August had not responded. Some believe he had maybe gone into business for himself. Others might believe that something had happened to him. But with the timing of everything and the stress weighing down upon the coterie, they didn't have a great deal of time to discuss it, having to move forward with other business. And then finally, we did find out what happened to August as he awoke within the chantry and was confronted not only by the regent of the chantry, not only by his own sire, but by Maximilian Strauss, the newly named Archon of the Camarilla. He and Strauss had a very interesting conversation where he came to find out that Strauss was very interested in his alchemy and believed it could further the goals of kindred and possibly their evolution through this alchemy, and he would help endorse August's projects, but all under the watchful gaze of the Tremere Chantry over in Clearwater, Florida. Now, let's get back to business as we begin tonight's episode with our first scene where Beau and Jeremiah go to visit their benefactor, Solomon, and have a discussion, update, catch up about all of the things that are happening currently. Our first scene begins in the back office of the Walk and Roll, the Chinese restaurant, if you could call it that, where Solomon tends to host most of his business. Through the sounds of clanking pots and pans, the sizzling of grills and stovetops, you approach the back door that you have visited many times before and are here to visit again, although you notice there are fewer of you in attendance than you would like, considering the last time you were all together at this office. I'd like to ask, before going into this meeting, what's going through your mind, and then give you a few moments, just the two of you, before approaching your benefactor, Solomon Creed of the Ministry. Beau, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Jeremiah.
Beau is currently running through their calming protocols in their brain, keeping themselves centered in this moment, not focusing on the fact that they can't get a hold of August, not focusing on the fact that there was a dead body in the bar, focusing more on the facts of the situation than the emotions behind them.
Being very logical in their approach and letting logic lead them versus emotion. Okay. Jeremiah, how about you?
Jeremiah's been putting off this meeting for a while, just because he doesn't like having someone over him. It's not a relationship he's comfortable with. It's not one that he trusts a lot. But he's kind of come to the point where it has to happen. Like there's been too many hits have been coming. And he's been trying to game through in his head, like, how do I approach this? How do I approach with Solomon? And he wants to be able to trust Solomon, but he's ready to advocate back if Solomon tries to take advantage of this situation more than is appropriate, or would just amount to another hit coming. That's kind of his game plan and his mindset.
So as the two of you stand outside of the door, the kitchen nearby providing a nice overture of noise to kind of shield your conversation, the scene is yours.
All right, Beau. We need to come correct with this one. We're in a tight spot, and Solomon's got to know what we know if he's going to be able to help us and the movement. So I plan on being pretty honest about everything, unless there's something you want me to keep.
Honesty is the best policy. I'm going to be as honest as I can.
In this instance, I agree with you. Let's do it.
Beau will hold out their hand for a fist bump.
As you knock upon the office door, the old stained wood reverberating under each pound, it is replaced a moment later by a wall of a man that you know to be Doberman, who almost takes up the entire doorway. As he looks down at both of you, he gives a short nod before stepping back out of the way, allowing you access into the seemingly cramped office. Although, considering the number of participants in the room at this point, it seems a lot more comfortable. The two chairs across the desk from Solomon Creed, perfectly spaced to allow both of you to spread out just a little bit without the concerns of being shoulder to shoulder with everyone in the room. Doberman closes the door and steps to his usual position on the opposite side of the desk, flanking Solomon, who has turned in his seat, the same circular spectacles covering his eyes despite the dingy room around him. Well, isn't this a nice surprise? Beau, Jeremiah, have a seat. What can I do for you?
Jeremiah will kind of just land in one of the chairs, letting the weight of everything manifest physically. Well, Solomon, I don't think I need to tell you that things haven't been going great.
I was about to say, with an entrance like that, I figured it'd be followed by a funeral procession. Where's August?
That is probably topic number one. Given that you asked that question, I will assume that you haven't talked to him recently.
Spent some time with him a couple of weeks back, but no, haven't really spoken to him in the last few days.
Well, he's gone silent. We can't reach him. I went by his shop. No one was there. It seems like his phone is off. He's not around, man.
Do you believe he
off.
upped and left? Was the place vacated? Empty?
No. It was closed, but it wasn't cleared out.
I see. Sorry, Beau, what were you saying?
Not just off, but out of service. It's not even text messages were going through, and phone is off. It'll still usually go through.
See Solomon's brow furrow slightly. And you can hear the clicking of his tongue in his mouth as if he's running through 100 different scenarios all at once before saying, do you have any leads, any suspicions?
I've got two. The first is, well, I don't know if he talked to you about this, but when we met with the drowned crew, there was a surprise Tremere there.
Right?
And August seemed pretty nervous about that. Dr. Elias Thorne. That's one. possibility. The other is Vesper. He's got some kind of deal with that dragon. And I don't like that. I've never liked it. I've never liked Vesper. So that's another thing. I have a plan. I'm going to go talk to Vesper later. See if he knows anything.
Well, on that, my dear Jeremiah, we are agreed. I understand the weight Vesper carries and therefore would rather stay on his good side, but I try to spend as little time with that one as possible. And if I were to suspect, based off of their preferred dietary patterns, thing is we haven't received an order from him recently, that would be my best guess at the moment. However, it would be bad for business for him to go after one of you. And as for the drowned court, I'm not entirely sure how they would have known where to go or where to find August, but I've learned never to underestimate the Tremere or kindred in general. That does
say, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I would say that if Dr. Thorne or any of them were responsible for his disappearance, that would call for a reevaluation.
Certainly, but without any proof, there's nothing really to be said. It's just baseless accusations, and I'd really rather bolster our numbers by bringing them in than risking a potential alliance and showing our hand to the Camarilla at large. They have enough information to become a very large problem for us should they decide that their leanings go back toward the tower and not so flexible as they once were. So in a keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer arrangement, I think it would be best if you continue to pursue a relationship with them, continue to do business with them for the time being until you find anything damning enough to condemn them. And in that case, we will have to see the issue handled as quickly and quietly as possible so no one even knows they're gone.
If it is the Tremere's fault, then I think maybe a good way is to encourage them to cut him loose rather than jeopardize the future. But that's speculation and possibility.
If it is the Tremere's fault, I'd be curious as to know why and what they did with him and what their intentions were. Because if it turns out the clan at large is involved, that makes the problem quite more intense, as the location of their chantry, their true chantry, is a stronghold and one not easily accessed. And the resources they have are limitless, so it seems, through the cover they have taken, which makes them all the more dangerous. But the question really comes out to as why? Why would they care so much about a Thin Blood? Why would they care so much to have him back?
I agree. Important question. But going back to Vesper for a moment and touching on another topic that I'm sure we're going to have to go over, I managed to speak with Valentina in an indirect way.
They're right.
And it turns out that it was Vesper that pointed her and August to the wolves' territory.
Interesting. Again, the question comes up as to why. We're in good business with them. We are an asset for them. So why send two of my employees on a suicide mission?
Something I
Okay.
intend to talk about when I meet with them.
My theory would be that there's something there that Vesper wants, and instead of going to get it himself, he's sending people to get it for him.
Probing their defenses, sacrificial lambs, who knows? But I'm not going to go super hard on that, but I intend to get some answers.
I agree. Act delicately with that one. They are, without a doubt, one of the greatest dangers in the area. And again, I'd rather remain as friendly as possible with them rather than risk their wrath, because that wrath extends a great deal farther than I think even we can estimate. But it does also broach a question as to what is it that they wanted that he would task them with that type of job. I assume they wouldn't just do it for free, and as far as I knew, we didn't have any outstanding debts with the dragon. So what is it that prompted them to go to him and not either of you or myself that would get them in a debt so deep that it almost got them killed?
It might not have been a stick, it may have been a carrot. I don't know. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to see what I can find, but again, delicate subject. Don't want to find myself in their nest. Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, going back to Valentina, I talked with her. She's not great, but they're treating her well. She's not being pushed, but the withdrawal's got to be starting.
undoubtedly. It's been over a month at this point, and as far as I know about ghouls, you need to keep them nice and fed, at least on a regular enough basis, in order for them to remain whole. But this does bring up the question, and I did ask August this question the last time I met with him. When is it too much? How long are you willing to wait for this before recognizing that maybe it would be better off to move on without? They made their bed. It was a foolish endeavor to even pursue the wolves, especially after we had just forged such a tenuous alliance with them so that they'd leave us alone, to go straight to them, to go into their backyard, as it were. They're lucky they survived the encounter, which gives me pause as to what do the wolves want that they would keep them alive instead of making a statement.
She's made her bed. And as much as I hate to leave a comrade in distress, there may be very little we can do. This sit down, the meeting that's been in the works, I'll address it. I'll see what can be done. But I have to put our business and the movement first.
I understand that many have viewed ghouls as property in the past. Property that is easily disposed of. I never felt that way regarding Valentina. I saw a lot of potential there. But if they're dumb enough to do this as a ghoul, what kind of dumb lengths would they go to as a kindred with that extra ego and confidence that comes with the blood? And I'm not sure how much more we have to bargain with or give. The arrangement made to keep our territory neutral in their eyes pretty much sold the farm so to speak. So if there are any intentions to bargain for her release, what price are you willing to pay? And where is August in all this? Did he go trying to do something foolish on his own? Because that's another possibility we didn't even consider. I like August, but even I can admit he's a bit of an asshole and thinks he knows best.
To be fair, Solomon, I did consider that.
It also passed my mind, but like I told Jeremiah, he put his neck out for Valentina. That doesn't seem like I'm just gonna up and leave for my own gain.
Does it also seem like August? Again, I like him, but I wouldn't put my life in his hands.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think it's a good bet that he had some other motivation. But now he's off the board. He's in the weeds. He's snatched up. Who knows what?
And getting in touch with Valentina, what did that cost you? Because I can't imagine it was easy or cheap.
No, I did it in such a way that it was as small of an ask as possible. Encrypted walkie-talkies, they got to listen in, limited what we could say, but there came a cost. The rats wanted higher scrutiny. So we have an extra employee or lodger at the bar now.
All right. That's interesting.
Skeeter's good people, and I want to keep that relationship. He's a lot more pragmatic than I think the wolves are.
But if it came down to it, you or the wolves, what side do you think they would go with, and how much more will they know to take back to them?
Not wrong.
Obviously, we have to move forward. We can't stand still and try to resolve all these issues. It makes us look weak. It hurts our business. And as much as I'm a bleeding heart for those in my employ, business has to come first. Obviously, your numbers have diminished and dwindled due to recent events. Not something I didn't see coming, unfortunately, based off of some of the recent actions and behavior, so I have already started making moves to try and refill your ranks. I'm going to be drawing from some of the other coteries under my employ, and I've actually put some calls out even further than that. I want to make sure we don't have a problem like we've already had. Which... oh, go ahead.
I also am making some calls. There's some people who are, not to disparage her, but more reliable, who I think I can call in.
Good. Just make sure they're on the level with what we're trying to accomplish here and that they aren't more problematic. I don't like hiring from outside if I don't have to.
No, I mean, you may know her. Mama Jacobs is a known quantity.
Definitely know the name, for certain. But this is what it is. This society, everyone has their own motivations, and I'm sure even both of you have a price that you would be willing to take to stab me in the back. I'm not naive.
You know what, Solomon? You've dealt with us fairly, so I'll just tell you what that is. If you call down the SI too much, those fuckers scare me.
I'm not the one messing with wolves, my friend. I'd barely leave this restaurant if I can avoid it. I know how to keep my head down. But those within your coterie and your employ, and those that may be joining, those are the ones you have to be most concerned with. I know what the SI can do. I've seen it. I heard about Vienna. I heard about LA. That is not a card I have ever any intention to play unless all is lost and the area is forfeit. But I'm going to put in a hell of a fight before that.
Not saying I was expecting you to do it. Speaking of LA, something else. I don't like to lean on it much, but I am of the Clan of the Moon, and I see things sometimes. And I saw a very specific figure very recently. I'm assuming the name Maximilian Strauss means something to you.
Regent of the Los Angeles Chantry, of obviously the Clan Tremere. What business interests do you think they'd have out here?
I don't know. But I saw him. I saw him close. I don't know what it means, but it's something to keep an eye out for.
Well, Maximilian Strauss was well versed in the crumbling court of the Camarilla out in LA. I wouldn't put it past the Tampa Cam to call in anyone they think would answer. That does make things complicated. He is a very, very talented warlock, and even I don't know the lengths of his power. It's just made the streets much more dangerous and the blood trade even more so. We are going to have to act very carefully. Assuming it's even true. Not to fault your clan, but they've had visions before that were meant to confuse more than anything else.
It's a data point.
I'm not taking it for granted. I will put out feelers to hear if Strauss is in the area, and if not him, what interest does he have? Has he sent out agents? We'll see what I can find.
Yeah.
All right, so the wolves, Vesper, and now Strauss. Anything else I should be aware of?
About the dead body. There was a rose in the heart, and I have an inside source. It wasn't done by Talia, but it was a message from her.
She didn't like that she missed Mother's Day, I'm guessing.
Probably not. But there was also a message that came from a shadow that left the body when we were trying to move it. I think a war is starting, and I'm not entirely sure what to do. I've never been versed in war tactics or anything like that. Homeschool taught me none of that.
All right. Camarilla is in no position to be starting any wars right now. They're still recovering after the dust up with the wolves. But also, they're often too egotistical and foolhardy to recognize their own weakness. But to make such a direct statement would lead me to believe that they'd just outright attack and snuff you out. Not do something as cloak and dagger as that. Because they are in a desperate position. They can't afford to play games right now. They don't have the resources for it, though they would boast otherwise publicly.
And I'm sure this is probably Talia just trying to put the fear of Cain in me to try to get me to panic, to come back. Or it could be something entirely different. But that's my main working theory.
There's also, we have some kind of leak. People know too much about what's been happening with us. Drown Court, as much said so when we talked to them. I scoured the bar. I opened up my senses, my precognition. I don't think it's anything mundane. All my sight showed me was a broken chain with a red rope still tying the links together. If August were around, I'd ask his opinion.
Well, there's two possibilities right there. The chain is often representative of the ghouls, or the bond that they carry. Broken chain, if I know my backstories well, Valentina broke her bond with her sire through mystical means. Well, Domitor, I suppose. And she's found herself in the most desperate of positions. Could be that she's considering all her options for escape.
Possible.
And one of those options ties back into part of your problem, doesn't it? The shadow. I can reassure you, on my word, my honor, whatever you wish to call upon, it's not me. Not good business. Knowledge is power, and I hold as much power as I possibly can to my chest. I have no reason to rat you out or to put you in a precarious position, at least not yet. But if you do have a leak, that's a leak that needs to be plugged immediately. So I have hesitantly come to a decision. He looks over towards Doberman. my dear associate here, will be joining your coterie. He's very good at stopping leaks. And I think it would be beneficial for all of us for you to have a little muscle and manpower should these dangerous individuals come calling again. Also, it's in my vested interest to have eyes on you as well, a little bit more directly, so make no mistake, he answers to me first, but he will do what is necessary for you as well. But don't expect him to be a great conversationalist.
You know, Solomon, that's both reasonable and appreciated.
I protect my investments. You are an investment. I've never been in denial about that. I've always been upfront with you, and I always will, to the extent that you need to know. So if you have any questions for me that you wish a direct and honest answer about, ask them. But understand that if I tell you that I can't give you an answer, it's not out of pure desire or manipulation. I think you'll find yourselves sleeping a little bit better during the day, knowing that Doberman's watching over you. But also, he'll do whatever he has to stop you from doing something foolish. So don't hold it against him if you end up in a box with a toothpick in your chest because you got a little bit eager. Nothing permanent.
I get it. You know, I think that's the bad news. I think that's everything that, you know, I've been dreading talking to you about. Just, you know, out of a sense of embarrassment and frustration.
Well, seems I might have some news for you. It's up to you to determine if it's bad or not. But because I was called upon to get rid of a particular problem for you, now I find myself indebted to the Giovanni again. But it's not really my debt, is it?
No.
No.
I need you to seek them out. They have a job.
All right.
Don't let it detract from your inroads with the drowned court. Doesn't seem like it is of the utmost urgency. They work in their own time, and that seems to be a very, very slow-paced time. But also, I wouldn't keep them waiting longer than you have to.
No, it's understandable. Beau said that they talked to you about the meeting with Sebastian. Was there any other things you wanted clarified from that?
Fucking Sebastian.
I respect what he's done and the power that he has accrued, but fucking Sebastian is accurate.
He's a necessary evil. There are going to be others like him, and I weigh heavily upon his ego. You see to that, he's going to show more than you think.
Oh, he was quite talkative. That venture that you told me about, he does not like him. Does not like how close their territory is to his. All but offered me their turf if we could take care of that problem. I still want to meet with them. Get their measure myself.
Probably a good idea.
You and he seem to see eye to eye on that situation.
I'm not sure if I should be disgusted by that knowledge. Makes me feel all gross inside, knowing that Sebastian and I have something in common. What I will say, and it's meaning no offense to either of you, I'm becoming a little uncomfortable with the amount of Tower loyalists are coming over to our side of the fence. Could be a play, could be a ploy. I never doubt your dedication, Jeremiah. Even before you got here, I knew of the work you were doing for the movement. But I can't help but feel they're seeding the ground. It's not their way normally, but perhaps they've changed tactics. Sebastian was Camarilla in Miami before the fall of the city. And as far as I know, he had good relations with St. Petersburg and their Camarilla court. Just be wary, more than usual. He's very connected. He has a great deal of resources, and his work with the cartel makes him especially dangerous.
I made it pretty clear that I'm happy to work with him, but I'm not interested in working for him. He made some noises in that regard. Not my style.
He has a very strong tendency, as most roses do, to make the two seem indistinguishable. To blur those lines so that you think you're working with, when in fact you're working for.
He also dropped some interesting, terrifying tidbit. You ever heard the name Hush?
See Solomon look nervously towards some of the darker corners of the room. I prefer I hadn't.
Well, they're around. And according to Sebastian's sources, there are... He said Methuselah.
What are they up to? All this La Sombra activity, you'd think we're in fucking Chicago.
Well, Jackson opened the door, didn't he?
Fucking Jackson. All right. I think you know your history enough to know that when enough La Sombra congregate, and with a dragon in the area, just step very lightly. Because with a crumbling Camarilla court and the Anarch movement only starting to gain some ground here, the scene is ripe for a return, if that is what they desire.
Nobody wants that.
No, they don't. Especially not me. So I'd have to give up everything before moving, which I would do in a heartbeat. And I'd encourage you to do if it comes to that as well.
Jeremiah looks like he has an idea, and looks over to Beau and says, Beau, you've heard of the Sabbat, right? I know you're pretty sheltered, but...
Is that something that rings a bell in Beau's mind?
Roll me either intelligence and politics or occult. 3 successes. I would say they were probably brought up a little bit in your education, but very quickly kind of pushed aside. So I wouldn't say you'd know any in-depth knowledge about them. I would say you would know that they were what the Camarilla especially considered radicalists. Those that didn't care for the Masquerade and were burning hot and fast. And that's what brought about their own demise. What you would know, the special little tidbit is the Camarilla sicked the Second Inquisition upon them, which probably brought a bigger problem to the Cam than they intended. But it's supposedly the Inquisition that wiped them out.
Can't say I know a lot, but the name sounds familiar.
Well, they are not as big of a problem that they were, but Zemis and Lasombra, those used to be the ones in charge. And Solomon's right. We're hearing those clans a lot more now.
And older ones, too. Those ones don't change their habits all too easily. I think you're going to need a lot of cover and distraction in your movements going forward, and I think I might just have the resource for that, but arrangements are still being made.
Good, good. They are terrifying, Beau. A death cult. Real monsters.
Just downright sloppy, if you ask me. But they never meant for subtlety. They don't care about the Masquerade. They care about dominance and revenge. Breaking free, the broken chain. Be wary. Keep your eyes open. Find out what you can, but be careful who you ask. If there is a La Sombra Methuselah and a Zemitzi Elder in the area, and considering the Camarilla doesn't think too highly of this area to begin with, and have already started to withdraw, history may be repeating itself sooner than we'd like.
I heard stories about Atlanta.
Miami was a stronghold of theirs once, too. They've used this place as a battleground before. I don't put it past them to use it again. Regardless. Is there anything else?
That's about it. I think we've gone over what we needed to talk about.
I do
Oh, go ahead.
I do have one question before we leave. You mentioned
Anything for you?
Doberman is going to be watching over us. That's going to cost us, ain't it?
If it means your continued loyalty and doing what you're asked, I believe that's payment enough. But it might be a little bit longer before I feel comfortable with anyone making plays for space of their own. You don't even have the resources for it. And I'm not exactly going to loan him out just to go create another barony.
I did shore things up in our little patch of land recently. Things are a little bit more secure. So.
Good. And how are things going with the trimming the hedges situation?
We are going to go talk with my my road buddies pretty soon, Beau and I. They've been scouting things out, gathering information, laying the groundwork. They are eager and they are capable.
If you're going to make sure to take a shot like that, don't miss. It makes a lot of noise, and it's going to have a response no matter what. So make sure, doubly sure, that you're ready for a move like that. Not just having the backup, but you're ready for the repercussions that are likely to come from that type of situation.
I think it's important for a number of reasons. We kind of looks over to Beau. Having that kind of hold on any of us is intolerable.
I disagree. And it's obvious that they haven't given up on you just yet. Don't miss. That's all I can say. If you're going to shoot your shot, don't miss. Because even though I'm not entirely sure I could protect you from their retribution and their anger, if they were just disappointed over a Mother's Day and a body ended up at your bar, what do you think you're going to do if you make an attempt on their life and fail?
I don't plan on failing.
Speaking of which, what do you plan on doing with Miss Saphira if she is at your mercy?
As much as gaining more strength through feeding on her is tempting, I want to make sure she never sees another night. I don't think I will, but let her turn into dust, maybe even on her own front lawn.
Bit of advice. You're already taking one risky shot. I wouldn't even consider it for the second. Because there are no assurances that you would be rid of her if you were to do that. If anything, you might never be able to be rid of her after a move like that.
Not worth it. Never worth it.
I've never done it. I've never encouraged anyone to do it. It's barbaric, even for us.
But I'll be honest with you. If I see you going for it, I'm just gonna put bullets in her head before you have the chance.
I understand.
Don't lower yourself. That's what it will be.
I agree. It's a slippery slope and a downward spiral, inevitably. Hard enough to hold on to what we were as is. That's just expediting the process. And you care so deeply that it's admirable, to be completely honest, if not a little bit foolish and dangerous. I know you would regret it. Eventually. All right. Doberman will be meeting with you shortly. I have a few more things to tie up with him to ensure that my security is intact before he so graciously departs my company. There's nothing else. I'll let you get about your business. Be careful. Can't afford to lose another of you.
No intention of going by the wayside. And I'll stand and I'll offer my hand for a handshake.
He rises up out of his chair and returns the handshake. You're a good one, Jeremiah. I wish the others appreciated you as much as I do.
Now that was a little backhanded.
You lost two of them. If they appreciated your control, your leadership, would they have done something so foolish?
Fair enough.
He then looks towards you, Beau, and gives a nod of his head. Take care of yourself, Beau. I'll see you at home.
See you back at home. And Beau will rise, tipping a cowboy hat that's not on their head, and head outside.
As the two of you step out of the office, Doberman closing the door behind both of you, he actually steps out with you. And in a rare moment, actually speaks when he says, "Don't fuck this up."
Trying not to, big man. See you at the bar.
I won't die for you. See you at the bar. And he steps inside and closes the door, leaving the two of you outside. Is there anything you wish to say to one another before we move on? Or what are your thoughts now after the meeting with Solomon?
Or we'll turn to Jeremiah. You ever heard that man speak before?
Couple times. It's a rarity. You good?
Still about as shaken as when we walked in there, but still holding on.
Yeah, same. Band-Aid we needed to rip off.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to party with some bikers again?
You know I am.
All right.
Kind of missed Skunk a little bit, actually.
He grows on you.
And I'm sure Winona missed the company.
All right, let's ride.
The two of you head out on the open road. This is where we transition to our next scene later that night. Our next scene begins at a dive bar off the roadside far north of downtown Tampa. This has been a somewhat popular locale for you ever since Skunk arrived with his crew, and they seem to have taken up residence at this particular establishment. So as you arrive, pulling into the gravel driveway of the bar, you can see several motorcycles all lined up, as if they haven't moved since the last time you were here, even though you know they have, probably many times. You can hear the blarings of a heavy metal anthem reverberating off of the walls of the establishment, and even outside you can hear a sea of voices chattering back and forth. You might even hear faintly the sounds of growls and maybe even a light roar coming from inside before a huge cheer goes out. But you are outside of the bar at the moment, just the two of you. It is later in the evening, probably about 90 or so minutes after your meeting with Solomon. The scene is yours.
All right. Look, sounds pretty rowdy. But let's see what they got.
At least the rowdiness will help cover.
Mm-hmm. It's a folly to think that the Outlanders are slow about these sort of things. They know what they're doing.
As you walk into the bar, it's like coming upon a scene of any post-apocalyptic or cyberpunk movie. A literal fighting pit has been made in this very cramped bar. All of the booths and tables have been pushed back if they're able to. You even see some of the smaller round top tables flipped up on top of some of the booths to make as much space as possible. And almost immediately, you are struck with the smell of blood. And Beau, especially for you, it's extra appetizing because it's animal blood. And you quickly realize why, as all of the bikers are surrounded in a circle, as in the center, a bobcat and what appears to be a wolf are busy scraping at each other, attacking. Now, the bobcat looks a little bit worse for wear than the wolf. But as you look around, you can't see Skunk anywhere currently, but you can see his vest draped over one of the upstanding chairs nearby.
But we'll lean into Jeremiah. Which one do you think he is?
I'm hoping that it's not that, because do I see anyone who I wouldn't think is immortal or wouldn't be part of the gang in here?
No.
Huh.
When I say they took up residence, it's very clear they have changed the entire makeup of this place in the short time that they've been here.
All right. I think I actually like that a little bit better than them using animals. That's like actual animals. Maybe they are. I don't know.
Well,
But
give me a wits and survival. You've been around animals a little bit more than Jeremiah has, so you might have a little bit of insight into this.
Can I use my specialty in hunting?
Yeah. Okay, with 4 successes, being a native of Florida, you know that bobcats are a species that live in the area. And based off of what you're observing, the bobcat is probably a real bobcat. But the wolf is definitely not, especially from the white stripe amidst the black fur that seems to go down its back to its tail.
Interesting tactic. Bobcat is real. Wolf is skunk.
All right. Well, I guess I'm only half weirded out. Go, kitty, go!
The two animals continue to tussle, but eventually the wolf pounces upon the bobcat, pinning it to the ground and biting down upon its neck. At which point it proceeds to feed until the bobcat stops struggling. Skunk then just backs off, shaking off the adrenaline and excitement from the fight and slowly shifting back into his kindred form, blood still stained all around his beard and mouth, the white stripe that goes through his beard now taking more of a tinge of red. As he looks to both of you, naked as the day he was born, he steps over and grabs his vest and takes his pants off of the booth and starts getting dressed again. Hey guys, welcome. Glad you made it for the show.
Like what you've done with the place.
Figured we were going to be here a while. Might as well make ourselves at home.
As is your right as a free kindred.
He then pulls a couple of the chairs off one of the booths and tosses them over to Squirrel, who immediately grabs them and starts rearranging the dining area again for everyone to have seats. You can see then Squirrel runs off to grab a mop bucket and starts mopping up some of the blood off of the floor, but isn't doing too thoroughly of a job. And based off of some of the brownish gray stains you can see on the floor, this is probably not the first time that this has happened. You also notice some of the other kindred in the gang exchanging money with one another as if there had been some betting going on during the bout. Skunk, still shirtless, just with his vest over, ends up sitting in the booth, his feet bare, his torn jeans being the only thing ornamenting his legs, as he gestures over to the empty booth across from him for both of you to sit.
I'll head on over. Take a seat.
Beau, sit down and glance over to Squirrel before turning their attention back to Skunk.
All right. So we've been doing some investigating, using the birds, the beasts, anything we could get our hands on to see what we could see. He is definitely fortifying. Now, this may come with the new job or position, but she has private security now on site. Doesn't seem supernatural. Probably just a hired firm. Maybe another connection through those tower motherfuckers. But she's got people on property. I would have to guess probably 3 during the day, 6 at night. She's expecting something. Now, it could just be, again, coming with the position. Expecting other ambitious cammies to go after the job. But also, I got a feeling she's not so confident about her dear child's loyalty anymore. I don't think it's anything we can't handle. The only issue we're coming upon now is technology, security. A lot of people in those areas have cameras, including her. And there's a lot of those newfangled door cameras. Worst thing to fucking happen to us, I swear.
All right. It wasn't unexpected. We don't know how, but they've got some kind of source of information.
On you?
On us, yeah. Trying to sniff it out. It's tenacious.
That's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, we need to find a way to... We got to sniff it out one way or the other. Might be a better idea to draw her out. Should probably take her muscle with her.
Could be. Maybe catch her on way to the Elysium or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I could try to honeypot. Is that the right term? Feed bait. I think that's a better word for that.
I like honeypot, but I also like fighting bears, so. Okay. Aren't you worried that it might be a little bit more suspicious? Especially considering how resistant you've been to being on good terms as of late. Though at the same time, it'd be a good test of the leak. Because she'd know if you were honeypotting, if there is a leak.
That is true.
But that's
It would be a good test of that.
even more dangerous to you being bait.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
As for the security cameras, I've been pursuing some information about how potentially you could deal with that. Apparently, a year or so back, there was a bit of a technological upheaval. Systems getting hacked, issues coming around, a certain song playing almost everywhere. Song being Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al. Now, I don't know if you've heard of him, but there's a certain bar owner, club owner in the area, Malkavian, called Al.
Heard the name, yeah. He's been on my list to go talk to.
Well, I know how you feel about the crackpots, no offense. He seems like the crackiest of them all in this area.
You think it might be worthwhile going to see how he's doing his business?
Could also give you a way to shut down that problem. If he's as good as they say he is.
Like I said, he's been on my list. I'll move him up.
Could also be worth getting in a little bit of debt if he can keep the police away.
I mean, I have my thumb on that scale a little bit too, but every little bit, when you're doing something this dangerous.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to him.
But we have a pretty good layout, a map. Squirrel! We see Squirrel just kind of stand up to attention before dropping the mop handle right onto the floor, hitting with a clatter, and then literally hopping over the bar before coming back with a bunch of rolled up paper that he ends up splaying out onto the table. And you can see a kind of like a hand-drawn map of the overall area, including a very clear marking or indication as to where Talia is located, her haven, and arrows pointing to points of access. You can also see little markings occasionally spread throughout the neighborhood that appear to be denotions of pets that live in the neighborhood, dogs, cats, all the like, based off of the little symbols that they're given.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
We have a way in and a way out, using the water primarily as our access point. It is an island after all. Better to avoid the bridges and the publicly viewed access areas. We've mapped out a path to get from the water's edge to their house. She was clever. She put it more towards the center, not towards any of the edges. But we think if we were to hit probably around 4:30 in the morning, shortly before dawn. Wouldn't give us a lot of time to get back anywhere, but worst comes to worst, we go underwater and spend the day there. But we think if we catch her right before dawn, she'll most definitely be home. And it'll be before the neighborhood gets moving. Not a lot of bar goers coming home that late. A lot of people headed to work that early. That was the ideal time slot we found.
Jeremiah is going to indulge in a little bit of paranoia before saying anything more tactical on the subject, and I'd like to roll for Sense the Unseen.
Okay.
Get hungrier on my surge, but... Dice. 2. 5 successes.
As you're peering about the bar, very carefully, this new vision taking hold, you don't see anybody. Not anybody purposefully trying to be hidden.
Okay. All right. Here's a thought. What if we have Beau running away? Something went bad with us anarchs. Tell her that she's coming by boat. She needs help.
Fleeing towards Talia?
Yeah.
Okay.
That way, either we draw her out to the water or we draw our people out to the water.
Could work. Would be more advantageous to strike from the water if she were down by the edge. A lot quicker and a lot less messy. Question is, and I know you're a very talented singer, but can you put on the performance of a lifetime to make her believe you're actually interested in coming home? Because as outwardly talented as your clan can be, they also can sniff out bullshit from a mile away. At least the more talented ones.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Other potential issue is that clan is quick. And if she's particularly gifted, we might only have one chance to paralyze her. Or at least to stop her from running away.
You seen her move particularly fast, Beau? Supernatural grace. Does the Macarena really fast? I don't know.
Not that I can recall. But
Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if you haven't seen her do it, then that's... All right. I'll meet up with Al. See if there's anything we can do. A couple of things I got to talk to him about.
Now, we've kept watch on the place. She's had a fairly regular visitor. Skunk looks very directly at you, Jeremiah. old friend of yours.
Yeah, we've been suspecting that they've been working together.
Could be more than working. There was, let's just say we saw something we didn't expect to see.
You take pictures?
Hard to do when you're a crow.
Yeah, I know. Jeremiah can't help but keep like a slightly perverted smile coming over his mouth, but then he locks it down. Good to know.
So, if for some reason she's staying there that night, that could provide another complication to things.
I'll have to think about that.
We'll keep eyes on the situation. If anything else develops, we'll let you know, but this is the best plan we've been able to come up with so far.
All right. It's good. It's solid. You know, no plan is perfect, but there's a reason I called you guys.
The best at what we do, what can I say?
All right. I've got some planning, some thinking to do. Might have to. I'm gonna work my own angles on that one.
We're on standby, at least for a little bit longer. We're gonna have to head back eventually, but
Oh yeah. We don't want to keep you here any longer than you need to.
probably drawing at least a little bit of attention.
You don't say.
The boys get bored. What do you want me to do?
Nah, I hear you.
They were expecting kind of a little bit more of an immediate act.
I get it, man.
I'll keep them at bay as long as I can.
We'll move soon. One more thing. I think I need to give Mama Jacobs a call. And I know you two had some fun a while back, but and he'll like pull out like a piece of paper with a number. This is the last number I had for her. Is that still good as far as you know?
Yeah, because kindred love change.
Well, she's not a kindred, man.
True. Yeah, it's still good. Although, if you're gonna come waving the X around in my face, can we at least make it as short as possible?
Yeah, no, it's good. You two won't mix. It's fine.
All right, you ain't pulling out all the stops. Got any favors left you can call in?
I got some things here and there.
But just don't waste it all on this.
I won't. Gotta keep the cards that you got, man.
All right. Well, if you do bring her in, be sure you got a plan.
I'm not gonna use her for this. Why the
fuck are you calling her?
Other reasons, man.
All right. This is your ballpark. I'm just visiting a team.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't risk her or people in something like this. That's not their strong suit.
All right, good then. Well, you know where we are? You gonna hang out for a bit, or you got it somewhere else to scurry off to? You want a chance in the pit?
You gotta.
I don't know. This one looks like they could work off some energy.
You got a hamster or something that I can fight?
We do have many possibilities. We got rats. There's plenty of rats around here.
If,
I'm gonna beg off on that one.
if you're offering, I'd at least love to try a round.
Yeah, let me see what we got in the back. He gets up and heads to the back room. You can see that your dog's tail is wagging as they watch very eagerly and intently as Skunk leaves. A moment later, Skunk returns with a gator. You feeling scrappy?
Hell yeah.
Well, this one's full up, so if you're hungry, take what you can get. Apparently there's plenty of these around. Huh? At this point, Skunk gives out a loud whistle, and you can see everybody quiet down and immediately move off to the sides, forming the circle once more. Squirrel quickly dives in, grabbing the mop bucket and the mop and wheeling it off to the side, but not too far away, having it ready at hand for when the scrape is over. The gator moves with a nervous energy, but it seems to be still docile. As you can see, another one of the biker members seems to keep hissing in its direction, somehow communicating with it. The gator slithers its way into the circle and actually snaps at one of the other bikers nearby, near the edge of the circle, who gets a little bit close, but they recoil back just in time. Skunk looks to you, Beau, whenever you're ready.
Beau will smile, roll their shoulders, and go into the circle, taking a moment to analyze the gator's behaviors and patterns.
Okay, give me a wits and animal ken or investigation. Or insight, even. Two. They definitely have the animal backed into a corner vibe. They are moving very slowly, but from what you've come to learn about gators, they can move very fast. Some gators have been clocked at like almost 15 miles per hour in a run, and it's often wrongly assumed that they can only move in bursts, that they can quickly snap. But some of them actually can sustain a pretty strong land speed. But based off of the way this one's moving, it seems to be like a coiled spring. It's keeping its movements very slow and minute, conserving whatever energy it has. And you can see that its jaws are open already just a little bit. So, first round, what would you like to do?
Beau is going to try to wear them out by antagonizing them, tapping their nose, moving away when they snap. Trying to get those last little bits of energy out.
Okay, give me a manipulation and either animal ken or persuasion. 4 successes. Okay. So moving in and out, you do notice the gator is getting a little bit more riled up. It's starting to like claw at the ground and even snaps in your direction. Now give me a dexterity and athletics, and I will give you a bonus die from your previous roll. Three successes. Okay. So as you attempt to goad the gator a little bit more, you aren't quite fast enough to get away as it springs out and like a spring trap buries its jaw into your leg, doing 2 points of superficial damage. However, it doesn't let go, and now it begins shaking and rolling, attempting to bring you down to the ground and off of your feet. So I need a strength and brawl for the next round to either try to break the grapple or to try and use the closeness to attack in some degree.
Could I use rapid reflexes to add my celerity?
You know what? Sure. Three successes. Okay. So as you attempt to wrench your leg out or to free yourself, giving a kick, it ends up rolling over, pulling you down to the floor and flipping you over on the ground, doing 3 points of superficial damage, already halved, as it flips you over onto your face and starts burying its teeth into your leg even more, yanking at it. You can even feel the muscles on your leg straining as it seems like it's trying to tear your leg off of your body.
I believe that would knock me out.
Is your bar full of aggravated?
Oh, no. It is full of superficial.
No, you were just impaired after that. So your rolls are at a -2 dice or a -1 dice now. Physical rolls.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Jeremiah is gonna look to Skunk and go,
He nods his head and kind of hops, getting ready to go into the circle. But Beau, you get one more chance, 3 rounds and out, to try and attempt something.
I think Beau at this point has given up all pretenses of trying to fight and is maneuvering to get at the neck to bite and just drink.
Okay. Give me a... Well, it's going to be a strength and brawl again. Or I'll give you a dexterity and brawl to try and kind of like almost shape yourself in a way, like acrobatically or contortionist way, to try and get around to it. What'd you get? 2 successes. Okay. Beau, take 1 point of aggravated damage as you feel your leg snap within the jaws of the gator. But before it's able to completely remove your leg, Skunk hops in onto the back of the gator, grabbing its jaws and wrenching them open to free you from this almost like bear trap of a grasp it has on your leg. All right, that's enough. Back there. He just starts pulling it back off of you before letting go, grabbing its tail and dragging it out of the room towards the back. Beau, as you lay on the ground, your leg broken, blood not really pooling or seeping, because that takes an exert of will to actually get the blood to free flow out of your body. You and Jeremiah, the scene is yours.
I think Jeremiah's going to look around to the assembled Gangrel, and he's going to just like start clapping and say like, well, they didn't get it, but that was a good show. That was some bravery right there. Come on, let's give it for them.
The other kindred in the area give out a polite cheer, although you can tell they're a little bit like, oh, this was awkward about the whole ordeal. And in fact, give me a wits and let's go wits and awareness on this one, Jeremiah. Or insight. I'll give you insight as a possibility too.
Yeah, that's better. Three successes.
You get a very strong vibe of awkwardness coming off of most of the assembled Gangrel, but also you see now a touch of reconsideration about this whole ordeal of being here. Is this someone worth fighting for? Is this someone worth dying for? Or are they fucked?
Beau will push themselves to the nearest table and use it to pull themselves onto their one working leg. Thank you.
Now you could make 2 rouse checks to heal the aggravated damage immediately if you would like, as well as additional rouse checks to heal the superficial.
I'll make the check to try and heal that aggravated.
Okay, so 2 rouse checks.
Two 10s.
Okay, so you don't grow hungrier, but you do feel your leg kind of knitting itself back together, and you do even feel the bone reconnect and fuse together once more as the dangling broken leg that you've been holding behind you now kind of just sets itself and snaps together. Now, having never sustained this kind of brute force, probably ever, honestly, as you were a sheltered rose, it is painful. Even though you know it wouldn't destroy you unless it was your head, it is not fun. Like, even when you were a human and you took a few lumps as a human, nothing like this.
Shit. Tyler wasn't exaggerating when he broke his arm.
So, as uncertainty weighs in the air of the bar, what was once previously extremely confident and certain, Jeremiah, you've dealt with them before, and you know strength is a very important quality to them. They know you, so you have a little bit of goodwill, but they don't know Beau, and really what you're asking them to do is for them, not necessarily as much for yourself. But you also know that they'll do the job if they're asked. But this uncertainty definitely puts a little bit more anxiety into the air about the effectiveness and positive outcome of this particular mission. Because where there is emotional weakness, that's where Toreador thrive. That's where they can inflict the most harm and the most damage. Looks like you've got some work to do, before any kind of operation can take place. And this is where we'll go to our break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. Welcome back. As we begin a new night, Beau, I'd like you to make a rouse check, a blush check, and if you so choose, rouse checks to heal the last of the damage to your leg from the night before. So why don't we go ahead and start with that rouse check?
Hunger unchanged.
Okay. Now let's regenerate the damage before we worry about Blush of Life. How much superficial damage do you have left over? 3. Okay, so I need 3 separate rouse checks. Or you can stop midway if you need to. Okay, hunger goes up 1.
Goes up by 2.
Okay, so your hunger is at 3? 4. Okay. So you are feeling especially bitey as you start your evening, the wounds upon your legs stitching back together. Now you know you have the bar to tend to. this particular evening, but you also know that you are very, very hungry. So what would you like to do as you feel that gnawing, gnashing need at the cage, the pit growing ever deeper, the restraints that hold this particular beast back at their wits' end, almost fraying?
They will semi-reluctantly feed off of the coterie herd for one dot, that final dot.
Okay. So exposure to blood, regardless of being heard, comes with some risk, as you are at the risk of frenzy. If you were at 3 and below, wouldn't even be a conversation, but you were at 4. So I need you to make a composure and resolve check to see if you can withstand being exposed to that blood. 3 successes will do it. So even though the beast angrily reminds you, do you remember what it was like to be full? Do you remember the peace that came with it? We could have that again, you know, right now.
Not now. There's work to be attended to.
Come on, Beau Jean, what's another body? We know that it's
Right.
just a call away from being taken care of.
That's not something that I want to do often, Bill.
Pity. You know I don't like to be hungry. You know I
know
don't
you
like
don't.
to wait.
We have all the time in the world, Bill. Let's not be hasty.
Do we? I think we both know the walls are closing in. The Gangrel think you're weak. Talia does too. Maybe it's because you're hungry.
No. I'm gonna put that thought out of our head. What we lack in physical strength, we make up for in charm and wit. We're not gonna let their doubts get to us. Right, Bill?
You say so? But what good will charm and wit be when the shadows come? What good will charm and wit be when the trap closes on them? When Gangrel after Gangrel fall? Because we know how dangerous she can be, even if we don't want to admit it. And it's been a long time since we've seen her. Think about how much more dangerous the Primogen is now. But I'm satisfied enough. Are you?
I am. And I'll make sure you get some more later, when there's not work that needs to be done.
Liar. We're both never satisfied. As you're having this conversation that seems to follow you everywhere, you're at the bar. Before you know it, you're returning the dazed patron to their stool, giving them a free round for their efforts. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Don't Don't turn this into a musical reference right now, Beau.
But you love musicals.
Later.
Promises, promises. As you're looking about the bar, the night progresses smoothly. But then, the door flies open. And like a banshee from the depths of hell, a young woman with very frizzy, curly hair, a button-up plaid shirt and jeans, stalks into the bar. Her eyes, like two laser pinpoints, are focused on you. As Bethany Walker, your twin, storms into the bar undeterred. Beau Jean Walker.
Hey, Beth.
So let me get this straight. She walks up to the bar, putting both hands upon it. After how long? You come to see our mama? After how long? You finally make your presence known again? And then what? To say goodbye? To break our mama's heart? Who the fuck do you think you are?
Let's take this out of the bar space. There's a private area in the back. We can have this chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are these all your new friends that you have to impress?
No. I'd rather not discuss private matters in a public bar.
Give me a charisma and persuasion. She is very angry right now.
Mm-hmm. Can I use would beautiful apply in this setting?
Yes, absolutely.
And can I also activate awe?
Sure.
Five.
Okay. You can see her lips tighten as she holds back the rage. You can see the white knuckles on her hand as she grips the edge of the bar, but she relaxes. Fine, we'll do it your way. Not that you haven't been doing enough of that already.
Well, and they'll come out from behind the bar and usher Bethany towards the back storage area.
As you get through the back doors into the places where the crates and boxes of beer and other products are kept, she steps in before you, and as soon as you were past the doorway, whips around to face you. What the fuck, Beau?
You know, I wouldn't do this if it wasn't dire. And there's so much I wish I could tell you. There's so much I want to tell you.
We never kept secrets. And your little disappearing act? What's up with that? What's
What do you
going on with
remember?
you?
What do you remember about that last night?
I don't know. I've tried so much not to think about it. What happened?
A fight broke out at dinner, and Uncle Henry got really hurt. I'm sure you've seen the scars.
Yeah, every day. Someone stuck around to take care of it.
I would have been there if I could, Bethany.
Then why can't you? You're sitting here playing like it's Cheers or something. Let me tell you, you ain't no Diane, so tell me.
I have to be very careful about how I word this and what I tell you. This ain't just me trying to keep secrets, Bethany. This is life or death.
What are you talking about? Listen, it was a tense night. They would have forgiven you. Everything would have been fine.
It's not just that, Beth. It's... And Beau will move to the center of the room and start pacing. This ain't simple. This really ain't simple. And I don't even know where to start.
Just spit it out.
They'll stop and look at Bethany. I want to tell you, but in order to give you the full truth, full honesty, like we always have, how willing would you be to leave Mama and the others?
What the fuck are you talking about? Did you get into some sort of secret agent program or something? You're talking crazy.
That's honestly probably the closest approximation I have to that, to what this is.
Listen, I get that you feel guilty. I get that you're feeling bad. What are you talking about? Leave Mama.
I can't be fully honest with you in the way that we both want without drastic measures happening.
You talk about leaving, and yet we see posters for you. You're still around town. This doesn't make any sense.
When I became what I am, there were things that I had to give up. One of them I didn't want to give up, and I didn't until recently. I see now I maybe should have done so sooner. The one thing that has always been difficult for me to give up was y'all, was family. You'd have to give up family too. Or at least not be around as much
I don't understand where all this is coming from. You know we've supported you through everything, through all of the changes. While you were discovering yourself, we were there. What changed so drastically that you had to write us all off? I know we're a bunch of Florida hicks, but we're not that kind of Florida hick.
I know, Beth. I know. Do you believe in vampires, Beth?
All right, well, now if you just want to go telling ghost stories, I might as well just leave.
No, They'll take Bethany's hands in theirs and look into her eyes. I ain't telling ghost stories, Beth.
What are you saying? What about
You-
vampires? Like, no, I don't believe in vampires. They're a story.
Right, you were never really into the horror as much as I was.
Well, you don't see a movie and believe it. I don't believe a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away there were laser swords and fucking wizards. Are you in trouble?
A little bit, yeah. Beth, you know, I've always wanted you by my side. That has always been something that, even when I had to say goodbye, something that the thought tore me apart.
You chose that, Beau.
I didn't want to have to choose it, Beth.
Then why didn't you?
I want to keep y'all safe.
What are you trying to keep us safe from? Because really all you're doing is hurting all of us. So you're doing a bang up job of doing that.
I need to keep y'all physically safe.
From
I know-
vampires. You should have gone with the secret agent. That's at least a little bit believable. Witness protection or something like that. Although,
Who was
why they
witness
let you keep your name?
I wish I was better at lying. Beau will...
This isn't lying?
No. You know I've never been good at lying, Beth.
Yeah, now you're talking crazy. Did you get in with some sort of cult? I know they have those around here. Are you a Scientologist or something?
Oh, no. Mm-mm. Beau will move to stand in front of the door. I need you to promise me you ain't gonna scream.
Sure.
They will open their mouth and elongate their fangs.
Their look turns from shock with a flash of abject horror to confusion. What did you do to your mouth?
They'll retract the fangs. It's not something that I did kind of semantics. But right now, the thing to focus on is that normal people can't do that. As far as I'm aware, there's not even surgeries that allow for that to happen. Like, there's fake teeth that do it. I've seen it on the internet, but this isn't fake.
So you've fallen in with some sort of vampire cult that can do crazy teeth things.
We can do a lot more than crazy teeth things.
If I didn't know it was you, I'd have left. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. You're a vampire? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah. Yeah.
How?
So, remember that Talia that I was dating for a while before I disappeared?
Yeah, the succubus who took you from us.
She is one, and she turned me into one.
You look perfectly fine to me, other than weird teeth thing. Like, how? That doesn't make sense. Do you sleep in a coffin? Like, come on, Beau.
No, I don't sleep in a coffin, but I can't be out during the day. You ever wonder why the concert posters are only after the moon is risen? After the
Yeah, who
sun's
goes to a
down?
daytime concert?
Those are a thing. It's why I could never perform at a music festival or star in a movie.
So that bitch took you away and made you into a vampire. That's what you're telling me. That's what all this is about.
And being a vampire, it puts y'all at risk, danger.
Why? Because you're gonna eat us?
I mean, that is a little bit of what happened to Uncle Henry. I was too hungry when that conversation was happening, and I snapped. Luckily, I was able to stop myself before killing him, though I don't know if that would have been a mercy or not. But it is a large possibility. I don't like eating humans. I try to feed off animals if I can. But sometimes shit goes sideways and end up with the dead body when you didn't expect it.
Oh, it's been quite some time since you fed off an animal. You've been using the patrons at the bar with alarming regularity. What do you mean dead? You've killed somebody?
An accident. Uh,
You accidentally had them fall into your mouth?
no, like with Uncle Henry, I lost control.
Is there a way to fix it? Like, I don't understand.
As far as I'm aware, the only cure for this is death. A final death.
She just appears confused and stunned and trying to make heads or tails of this very unusual situation. You should leave. Why are you still here, Beau? What are you doing here? Think we're any more safe because you're what, a few miles away?
No.
Why are you telling me? Why didn't you tell Mama?
As much as I trust our mama, I don't know how she'd handle this news. And given how much I've told you, I now have 3 options. And I don't know if you're gonna like any of them.
What do you mean?
I've told you probably more than I should have. And now a choice has got to be made. Either I make you like me, I turn you into what we call a ghoul, which is something between a vampire and a human, or I kill you.
You kill her, Doberman says. What are you doing, Beau?
I don't want to have to kill her. I don't want to kill her.
No matter what, you just did.
They'll look to Bethany.
Bethany's looking very confused right now, looking very nervously at Doberman. Who is this guy?
He's... to say babysitter feels diminishing to him and me, but basically watchdog from my current boss. That's details for later.
Give me one good reason I shouldn't kill her and then you. You know the rules.
No, I know. More numbers. I can embrace her, I can teach her. She won't be a problem.
His eyebrow raises and he stares at you with that long, cold gaze. Do you truly believe you're in the position to teach anyone? What about Valentina?
I won't let what happened to Valentina happen to my sister. I will make sure she is taught right and that she won't be a problem.
He leans in alarmingly close, having to like almost hunch down to get at your eye level. And what would you do to stop it? What would you do to stop me right now? And in a blur, he is now behind her, one hand on her jaw, one hand on the top of her head. Could you stop this, Beau?
Please don't. I can't lose more family. And this way, you know I'm on a tight leash. Because I have to be more careful.
And when she messes up, and the wolves come prowling because too much noise is made, do you know how much work, how much money goes into making someone disappear? No, you don't. Because you had a silver spoon in your fucking mouth. And now you would damn your sister to this.
Please don't kill her.
I would be doing her a favor if I did. But that's not what I'm here for. And he releases her jaw, and you can see tears are now streaming down her eye of abject terror, as if her voice is completely gone, lost in her throat. Whatever you do, whatever you decide, is on you.
Yes, sir.
But just remember, you can't undo this.
I know.
And you can't save them all. Because she is just the first. You don't think the others will come looking, wondering? Are you going to embrace all of them, Beau? Make a decision and make it quickly, before I change my mind about this breach.
Let me have a moment alone, please.
He says nothing and just pushes his way out through the door. Your sister collapses to the ground in a heap, heaving.
Beau will rush over to Bethany and pull her into their arms. I do this with a heavy heart. And I do it because I love you. And they will bite into her neck to feed off her and start the process of embracing.
Okay. So, I need you to roll me a wits and occult. Because the question is, were you ever taught what an embrace truly entailed? Because the margin for error is very slim. And drinking them to the point of death is a dangerous business. And your beast is still in there, still hungry. And they don't care who your sister is.
2 successes.
Okay. As you drain her to the point of death, her eyes are shock and fear and worry. Doing what you can remember from the hazy visions of what Talia did to you, you raise a wrist to your mouth, sinking the teeth in, willing the blood to the surface. Make a rouse check for me.
Hunger increased.
You feel the beast inside you grow angrier. You're going to take our food away. You're going to share with her? One more mouth to feed, Beau. Beau Jean Walker, what generation are you?
Generation 12.
That's very fortunate. Because had it been one lower, you would have made a thin blood. But now, let's see if you made a Toreador or a Caitiff. Your sister falls into torpor immediately, seemingly dead. But knowing the next night she will rise. But as what? You don't know innately. You won't know until that next night. And even then, you won't be entirely sure. Not right away. Bethany Walker died tonight. What will remain of her tomorrow? We now transition to our next scene. Our final scene of the evening begins at the Evanesce Tattoo Parlor in Ybor City. The purple illuminated sign casts a glow upon the stone staircase that leads up to the doorway. Jeremiah, as you arrive and climb the stairs slowly upwards, you can't help but think back to the Hobbit and Smaug walking in to a dragon's den. You haven't been looking forward to this. In fact, you've been outwardly avoiding it, and had you had your way, you wouldn't have to be here. because it would have been one night, one bit of business, and you wouldn't see them again. But that fucking coterie of yours. How much
The only
trouble
one I can rely
could...
on is Beau. She's the only one that's solid.
Yeah, and Beau never makes any mistakes, or definitely none that you've known of so far. But it's a new night and a new opportunity. So as you pull open the glass-paned door, the dong rings out through the tattoo parlor. There are only a few lights on at a couple of the workstations. But out of the back floats Vesper. Not really floating, but walking with such a glide that it seems like they're barely taking steps. As they pull open the curtain and see you. So, the last one. I was wondering when you'd show up.
I guess it was inevitable, wasn't it?
How could it not be? We crave power. We are drawn to it. Whether it's to learn or take. We can't help ourselves, can we?
Circumstances do conspire.
What brings you here, Jeremiah?
Matters of my comrades. Is there someone more private we can speak, or are you confident of this?
Perhaps privacy is warranted. He steps to the side and holds this thick purple draped curtain open for you. And as you walk into the back hallway, you see one direction heading to some stairs, a door heading to the restrooms, and then a third door. He moves to that door and opens it, and inside you see a private tattoo suite, but it could be easily mistaken for a surgical suite. The chair, in fact, has straps attached to it. He gestures at first to the chair, and then at second to a rolling stool, clearly used by the tattoo artist to be able to have easy maneuverability. Have a seat.
Jeremiah will look with appreciation at the more elaborate one, but then sit on the stool.
Vesper glides over towards the chair and almost flops into it, draping one leg over one of the arms, raising his other hand up above his head, where he gently almost strokes the head cushion with his long, nimble fingers. Well?
We need to talk about August.
What about August?
He's gone missing.
Roll me a wits and insight.
Okay. I would have, when we were out away from the main lot, I would have popped my heightened senses.
Okay.
Six successes.
You see the faintest twitch at the corner of his eye, giving off a hint of surprise and irritation at this news. He then quickly recomposes himself in a flash, but you were able to catch that very, very small detail. And?
Well, I know you have, let's say, extracurricular dealings with him.
Oh, make no mistake, Jeremiah. It was he who had extracurricular activities with me.
Why am I not surprised?
Like moths to a flame. I don't know where he is, and I don't know what happened to him. A pity, really. He had a great deal of potential.
I would like to wits and insight again into that statement, if I may.
I'm going to let you keep your original roll. He is absolutely telling the truth. He has no idea where. He didn't even know something had happened to August.
I believe you.
Should, I have no reason to lie.
And it seems we may have a mutual problem then.
Why is it a problem? If anything, it is a solution for you, is it not?
I think I've come to a conclusion that it is impossible to have relations with other kindred and not have them be a fuck up in some way.
Frustrating, isn't it?
I'd say you have no idea, but I know that's not the case.
There is a reason you don't see many of my children running around.
There's a reason I don't want to make any.
She wanted me, you know. She wanted it so badly, I could smell it coming off of her.
Vesper, just because you can get away with something doesn't make it not creepy.
Mission accomplished.
Let's say that it is a problem for me. August, that is. As frustrating as he can be, I think you can agree that he is also useful.
He is entertaining, I'll grant you that. So, what? You want me to get him back?
No. I wanted to confirm that he hadn't run afoul of you.
If he had run afoul of me, everyone would know it.
You do like a show, don't you?
I like a statement.
Well, I only have one other strong supposition.
Just one?
Just one. Other possibilities are, let's just say there's less evidence. We met with some kindred of the tower recently. And among them was a Tremere that August recognized and was quite nervous about whether or not they recognized him.
I must admit I would be quite surprised if they did. Thin bloods go beyond notice all the time.
Dr. Elias Thorne has domain in the Riverwalk. I give this to you in case you feel like checking in on a possible threat to your investment.
I believe the greatest threat to August is himself. His ambition. It is an inferno. And we don't like fire.
But do you like other people touching your things?
His demeanor changes from its relaxed gait to something a little bit more tense, a little bit more rigid. You can actually see the lines of his jawbone almost protrude slightly with how tight he's clenching his jaw. Normally, I wouldn't care if he lives or dies. But this point that you make do you believe August to be mine? And are you jealous of it?
Oh, I had an answer for the first question. But the second one. I don't consider him property. I consider him a comrade. I'll let you come to what conclusion you may.
Do you know what the biggest problem with freedom is? Time and again, the free have proven they prefer to be dominated. They can't decide for themselves. Not really. They want to be told where to go. They want to be told what to do. And without it, They devour each other. Like wild animals, they turn against one another. How long do you think the Anarchs have before they turn back into what they are?
Longer than the Sabbat did, I think.
Indeed. The Sabbat made the mistake of mercy. They were too patient.
That is not traits that I would associate with them. But I suppose you have the benefit of perspective.
All empires rise and fall, Mr. Lockwood. All movements start and end. Some sooner than others. There's a reason you don't see me associated with any of them. Because I will remain regardless.
Well, I suppose time will tell, and has told in some ways how wise that is. I've told you what I know. As I said, I think we have a mutual problem. Now, I make no promises. But if August had obligations, I would see myself as beholden to at least keeping my eyes open to make sure that he doesn't slide further into debt. If you had him poking at something, I could keep an eye out.
He had questions. I merely gave him answers like I'm giving you. But enough about August. What do you want?
I want to struggle, perhaps in vain, to make the night a little less oppressive. Bit by bit, inch by inch. And if I can, play as few zero-sum games as I am able. They're self-destructive all the way around.
There will always be an oppressor. To get rid of oppression is to become it. But I think both you and I know who the true oppressor here is. Not between the two of us, but the unspoken whisper of it all.
a hush, you might say.
You might.
That does concern me.
On that, we are agreed. More than any thin blood or ghoul. And you see a almost serpentine smile cross his face. Or Toreador. That is the true terror in the dark.
I do not disagree with you.
So where do you put your focus? I will give you the benefit of your plan and your ability to multitask. But I think we both know you can't watch everywhere.
No, you certainly can't. That's why I believe in the movement. Many hands, light work, and all on what they say. It's imperfect, and perhaps destined to fail like all things are. But it's what I got, and it's what I believe in.
There
I know
are
you scoff.
oh, go ahead.
I know you scoff at it.
Not at all. There are many an organization that would have benefited from that level of thinking and dedication. But take it from experience. Moths to a flame. Always. Unending. You might find equality. You might find peace. But there will always be one kindred that wants what another kindred has. Even if it isn't property, even if it isn't possessions. We can't help ourselves. We are what we are. So, which are you? The moth or the flame?
If we accept that binary, and I'll humor you for the moment. I would strive to be the flame.
As you should. But flames only last as long as there is wax. As long as there is wick. What you are building determines what that is and how long.
I'm not afraid to burn out. There are worse things than having strove to build something better than what came before you.
Unfortunately for you, unlike the kings and emperors presidents and rulers of all. You don't get to have it outlive you. You watch its collapse. And in doing so, a part of you collapses with it.
Were you always this cynical?
Despite my look, age wears on you.
Well, then I wouldn't say that I pity you. I wouldn't want to insult you in that way.
A smart choice. I don't
Then-
need pity, Jeremiah. All I need is to be entertained for one more night.
What if you could find something to believe in again?
Are you trying to recruit me?
Always. But I won't press that picket line too far. Again. But you'd be a hell of a beacon.
Or just another moth?
I'd take that notch on my belt.
So say all moths before they get too close. You
Kill-
have entertained me this evening, Jeremiah. So allow me to offer you something in exchange. The reason they went to the wolves is because the wolves sit upon a furcus, a place of power.
Interesting. You learn
Very.
something new every night.
There are few places like this in the world. But when you are close to one, and you can do what I do, it's almost worth the risk of being a moth.
Well, I hope you don't get burned then.
I am patient, and they are mortal.
Patience. That's what I try and keep telling them. It's our biggest strength.
Unfortunately for you, he wasn't.
No. No, he wasn't. Jeremiah will stand. Say thank you for your time, Vesper. Evanesce. To fade. I don't see you fading. Is that a mark of irony?
Learn a little bit more about the area you call home. And I think you'll learn why sometimes it is good to fade.
I thank you for your wisdom.
I thank you for the entertainment.
And he'll give a little showman-like bow. I think I'll have to take my leave before we get too close.
Until the next time.
There will inevitably be one then.
What can I say? Where the glow is the strongest, the pull is the hardest to resist.
Maybe next time I'll show you my embarrassing tattoos.
We can fix that, you know?
I know.
As you head out, descending those stairs, backlit by the purple glow of the sign of the tattoo parlor. What's going through your mind?
As he gets away closer to the car, he smiles. He got exactly what he was looking for out of that conversation. He's not so arrogant as to believe that he didn't make any missteps, that he didn't give more than he was expecting to give. You can't expect to have a pure win with someone so old. But he got everything he wanted. He got a bug in his ear about maybe someone who took August, maybe just another fucking Tremere. And he got why they went, the real answer. And that's a card to be played at another day.
And this is where our story comes to a close this evening, but not without one last scene. Our final scene begins outside of the Church of Scientology in Clearwater, Florida. The good doctor descends the stairs, satisfied with being reinitiated into the Tremere, being brought back home. And all it took was one lousy thin blood. Doesn't matter why they were important. The job is done. His fate is sealed. He is secure once more. As he hits the street, he considers, does he go back to the coterie? Does it even matter? That coterie was a means to an end, a safe harbor in a tumultuous sea. Or does he stay here, continue his study, continue his work, see what the fuss was all about? Unfortunately for the good doctor, he doesn't have time to decide. For at that point, tendrils of darkness make their way out and cover him. And when they pull away, he is gone. This is where our story comes to a close this evening. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below, and come join our community by following that Discord link, where you can join over 150 other individuals who love talking about the world of darkness. And even if you're new, you could learn a great deal by being there. And if you really like what you see, follow that Ko-fi link to sign up for a Ko-fi membership, where for as low as $5 a month, you get all kinds of behind-the-scenes features, including the Rosebud Thorns for this very session, and maybe a sneak peek about a new kindred coming into the area sometime soon. So go join the Ko-fi and get on the pulse of all things St. Pete by Night that are happening currently. But for these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.